Now then, we're back. Another What's New in the Vault. I've not done one for a few weeks, actually. I think the last one was X-Transbot's Razor, I think. Yes, it was, yeah. So, delivery earlier this week. Arrived. I've just got round to doing it now because I've been a bit busy doing a few other things. What am I talking about? Well, we know what I'm talking about. It is Fantastic Model. I'm trying to get him so he don't reflect the light here. It's not doing well because, these glossy boxes. Yeah, Fantastic Model FM-03 Warhorse, but, we know him as Ironhide. That grizzled old warrior, best pal of Optimus Prime. Shall we, yeah, I think we should just cut the waffle and let's get on and take a look at him and let's see what he's about. What's new
in the vault? The box.
Okay, we're going to start where I always start, and that's with the box. And this is the box. Let's just turn it round here so you can see what's going on. Just a brief look around it, and then we'll go into a little bit more detail. Well, as much detail as you can for a box. Right, okay, so we know it's branded up as Fantastic Model, but we know that it's Fans Toys. I have no idea, really. There's speculation as to why they're doing it. I think it's mainly kind of a legal thing, rights thing. So, Takara and Hasbro don't come along and slap them on the wrist, or maybe just trying to distance themselves from Fans Toys, protect the Fans Toys brand, by releasing stuff here like this. Who knows? But anyway, so yeah, Fantastic Model, Warhorse, FM-03, box on the front. It's slightly embossed, it's slightly raised. You can't tell that on the video here, but take my word for it, it is slightly embossed. Nice bit of artwork, actually, in both vehicle mode and robot mode. Colours are nice. There's a bit of a grid line behind the figure as well, going off, that fades in and fades out. And then you've got this border going off around the side. On the side then, we've got just the name and a QR code. Same on the other side, name, QR code. Top, name, bottom, name. And then on the back, that's where it's all happening. So we've got some photographs of the actual figure and vehicle mode and accessories, things like that going off. And then we've also got a bit of a readout here, telling you about the character. And so I'm not going to read it, but it's just basically it's their rewording. It's an Ironhide bio, basically. They've just retyped it and put it in their own words, but it's effectively describing Ironhide. And that's it. That's the box. How bloody exciting was that, eh? What's next? Yeah, let's get on to the accessories and peripherally things that are actually on the inside of the box, shall we?
The accessories.
Right, okay, here we are with all the gubbins that are in the box. I've not bothered with just doing taking it. I've just tipped it all out to show you basically what we've got. So let's start with the collector card, like so. There we go. I can't tell if that's just a render. That's not a picture of the actual figure or a drawing a drawing in the strictest, the traditionalist sense. Sorry. It's a render, is that. And then we've got on the back, we do have pictures of the figure and the actual figure and vehicle. Bit of a power level, the tech spec loadout, if you will. And then again that bump, that readout that's replicated from the back of the box. Just feels like a credit card, nice and glossy. What more can you say about it? Instruction book. Here we go. Same again, that render on the front, render on the back with the QR code. I'm not going to go through it. I'll just just show you bits and bobs there, even though it's upside down. So it's an instruction book. What more do you want? But I'm glad that Fans Toys continue to include instruction books, unlike X-Transbots. Yes, we're looking at you. See me after class, X-Transbots. I do appreciate the instruction booklet. I'm not one. I will go online to YouTube and look at transformational videos, but I still appreciate the booklet. It just gives it that bit more of a premium feel, that you get a nice glossy booklet to go with it. And most of the times it is well, I'll get to this point later, but most of the times it is easier to watch the instructional transformation videos on YouTube. But now and again, you still do have to refer back to the book. But like I said, we'll get to that point later on. So yeah, it's an instruction book. Can't really say no more about that. Put them there. Just keep them in view, but out the way. And then the accessories. I can see what Fantastic Model's done here. They've kind of mirrored somewhat to the accessories that we got with Ironhide from Takara, which is fair enough. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it. They're also kind of bound. Was bound the right word I'm using? But you know what I mean. They're kind of following things that they've seen on the cartoon as well, which you're going to get some overlap and crossover. But I'll just dive straight into them, and we'll take them as they are. So first, we've got this kind of blast fan effect. It's like, oh, it's a fan. Oh, I'm just so warm, Mr. Darcy. No, it's not. Yeah, it's a fanning blast effect, which you put onto the end of the gun to give the impression that he's kind of shooting in all different directions. Now, looking at the connector here, it's more really for this gun, for the longer gun. So I'll just pop that on there so you can see, and it goes on thusly, and you go, you get the idea. You get the idea. I'll be honest with you, I'm not over keen. I can't. I'll never use it, and I don't know if other people will use it. I think it's just one of those kind of like, nah, it's there, Anyway. Keeping on with the kind of blast, flame, whatever effects, we've got these two here, which I think are probably more thrust effects for the backpack, which will slot in there like that. There we go. So you got your rocket effects for the backpack, but they've got little pegs on the inside which you can't see, but I can see, and they'll fit on to the end of the guns like so. Let's put that one as well. So you get the impression that he's kind of bang, 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 just blasting away there like that. It won't fit onto that because that one, that's a drill gun. Will it fit on the end of that? No. The end barrel on that is too big. So it looks like, yes, it's really a thrust effect for the backpack and blast effect for the two separate guns, which we'll get onto next. These are just straight. They're a bit bigger, I think. I've not got the it's over there in the photo area. Is the Takara one. I've not got it here to hand at the moment, but they're just a straight up copy, like for like, of the Takara ones. Although I think these are a bit bigger or a bit more slender. Either way, they do what they need to do. They're alright. They're not my favourite style of gun. We have seen these before. I believe they came with Robot Paradise Outrider, the Fans Toys version of Trailbreaker. I'm just trying to think if the packed one in with the Hitch, Fans Toys Hitch. I don't know. I suspect they might have done, but I don't know for definite. It's a 50-50. They are. Anyway, regardless, I'm spending too much time on them. The guns. There you go. Put them there. We've then got this gun, which it's a bit stiff. I can't. It does. There is a hand. There we go. There's a handle that slides out there, so you can hold it and use it as a gun. And then also there is a peg hole here, which it will then go as kind of like a mounted gun when you've got the kind of like the. Is it? How would you describe it? A weapons sled or something like that. But I will get to that later. That's going to be a different part of the review. So lovely chrome on this. Completely and utterly chromed. No skimping on that there. Looks really, really nice. Really shiny. Backpack. I've kind of already briefly gone over when I put the attachments on. But yeah, just does what it needs to do, and it clips in using 2 clips there onto Warhorse's back. Again, this is I'm going to say it's probably more of a rocket launcher. Well, it would on the G1 figure. It would have been a rocket launcher. Does that actually come out? No, it doesn't. It's fixed in. Is that? That's fixed in, and that again will go on the rocket sled or weapon sled or whatever you want to call it. It's got an armature there, which is really stiff, but I don't mind that. So then you can pose it or manipulate it. Put that one to one side. We've then got the drill gun, which I believe is one of those accessories from that episode that we remember where they did the thing. The thing about this is as well, it's got 2... well, at first you think, oh, there's 2 stocks there, so you can kind of hold it like that. But then if you just pull it, it then turns into 2 more guns. So you get 2 for the price of 1. What looks like just a normal pew-pew, and then this still remains as like a driller kind of thing. Slot that back in there, put that back up. That's that. We've then got a clip attachment seaty kind of... this is again going to be for the weapon sled. I'm not exactly sure what the proper name for this is. I will just call it red with grey attachment. We've then got the alternate head, which I don't know if I'm over keen on actually. This is the IDW head. That's what I'm going to say. See if we can get it to the camera to zoom in a bit. There we go. Come on, catch up. It's this is it's the IDW head. I think is it Spotlight Ironhide or something like that. He's got this face sculpt. It's it's very stern looking. It's quite grizzled and stern. It's not a kindly face like what the animation one is. So I will put it on. I'll take some photos of it for you to see, actually on the figure itself. But it's not going to be a sculpt that I'm going to use in any, in the long term or with any great regularity. And then we've got a selection of swap out faces, which you can't see because they're too far from the camera. So there will be, I think there will be down here, while I've been talking accessories, there'll have been that swirly turntable thing with all the accessories going on. So that will be there. And as per usual, I'm sure I've mentioned it before, because I'm recording this kind of out of synchronization, out of order, because I'll get to that again. When you first get Warhorse, he's packaged in robot mode. We like a bit of that. But I've transformed into vehicle mode for reasons that is beyond me at this moment in time, which I will get to when I talk about the vehicle mode. So I'll just bring him in. He's here. Look, he's there in his vehicle mode. We're going to get to that. So I'm recording out of sequence. I think that was the point I was making. Yes, I was making that point. And there we go. So I'll just hold them up closer to the camera. But like I said, there will be... Oh, that was it. Yes, on the... I will be doing lots of nice photos. There'll be close-ups of these. And there will be the written review to accompany the video review, which will then go up on the Vaults of Icon website. But you've got 4 faces. You've got like a... Let's see now. You've got a smiley face. Not made out of potato, may I add, like the other smiley faces. We've then got like a kind of a... Like a... Huh? Kind of face. Then we've got a... grr kind of face. And then we've got a... Finally, we've got... Come on, my hands are a bit slippy today. A kind of like... Like... What? Kind of face. You get the idea. So that's the accessories. Accessories and booklet. There we go. They're all there. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about them. What am I going to do now? We're going to look at the robot mode. That's what we're going to look at. Silly me.
The figure.
Here we have Warhorse out of the box, and initial thoughts is is a great looking representation of Ironhide. Nothing immediately springs to mind that's thinking, I'm not sure, but yeah, as it is, straight out of the box, I'm liking the look of it. It's a mixture of painted plastic and just coloured plastic. There's some die cast in there. In fact, I think there is quite a bit of die cast in here because he's got quite a bit of chonk to him. Just immediately straight off glancing here, I can see there's some die cast in the shoulder joints here. There's some die cast at the back of the knee joints here. These front plates on the lower legs are die cast but painted. And then, let me see now, I'm just trying to think, yeah, this front section here is die cast. And then we've got like a tab up here that is die cast. And I'm sure when I come to transform him into the vehicle mode, I'll come across some more die cast. Oh, I can just see some in his groin area. There's some die cast up in there as well. So, you know, they've not skimped on it, but fan toys rarely do skimp on the die cast. So anyway, as I mentioned about the painted part, so yeah, the front bit is painted die cast. All this, the feet, the lower arms, the upper arm, sorry, yeah, the lower arms here, and then this side panel here, that's just all coloured plastic. The top part of the arms, the shoulders, that's painted grey. Obviously we've got the silver painted thighs and the waist section, and then we've got another bit of painted grey and silver here. Backpack is also painted a grey colour there. Oh, I've just noticed as well, the like the bicep areas, if you will, those are die cast as well, and that's painted die cast. Here we've got translucent blue window and the top sections here, and I'm going to assume as well, because they're tucked in on the inside there, that will be blue translucent plastic with the red paint on. And then we've got a nice shiny chromy kind of paint for the eyes, which you can't really tell in detail here on the video. And then we've got a painted grey face. And then we've got just some detailing, this yellow detail at the side here, which is more for when he's in vehicle mode, the van mode. We've got some other detailing painted on, so like some like black vent or grid lines, and then we've got some black pinstripe lines on the lower arm here. So yeah, there's very minimal detail. It's very, very much cartoon aesthetic. There's nothing, you know, there's nothing technical or toy about it in any way. There's, you know, they've gone for that that kind of aesthetic on him. I won't mention the hands. I do like the hands. All the fingers are individually articulated with pins at the knuckles and then pins at the first joint. The thumb is on a bit of a ball peg, and then a bit of a... How can you have a bit of a ball peg? Sorry, the thumb is on a ball peg here, and then with a pin at the top. While I'm talking about stuff like that, I might as well go on about the articulation. So the arms will swivel round like that. What I have noticed is as well, there's only 2 ratchet points for, you know, ratchet joints on a Warhorse. Top of the thighs here, those are ratchets, and then the double jointed on the legs, the top one is ratcheted but the other isn't. So there is quite an over reliance on friction joints on this, which I feel a bit uneasy about friction joints, because not so much for myself but for other people, because I don't manipulate or mess about with my figures that at all, you know, that much. So once they're out, they're usually put in a particular pose and then they're left there and then they get packed away. But people who may want to pick them up, you know, now and again or more frequently, pose them, things like that, over time the friction joints are going to give way and they're going to get loose. So that is a concern for me, but I do appreciate, I do understand that with some of the smaller joints you can't put ratchets in there. So it's a bit of a payoff really. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. So yeah, like I said, the arms rotate round and the arms lift up like that. There's rotation at the bicep. There's a single joint at the arm which gets you up there like that. Like I mentioned, there's double joints on the legs, which then gets him up like that. Oh, didn't want to do that. We're not at the transformation part yet. Let's just pop you back in there. There we go. There we go. So yeah, we're up like that one tick. Let's bring it back down. We've then got, you've got flaps at the back and at the front, and then at the sides. Now, let's see now, the legs can get out. Oh, we can get the legs out quite far. There we go. Yep, is able to get like that. And then going forward, let's see now. Yeah, you've got to like rotate them out slightly, but you can get his leg all the way up, and it won't go all the way back, but it'll go to about there. So it gets about that, like that. Not that really, I don't think you're going to be extremely posing your figures to a certain degree. What I will mention as well is when you first take him out of the box, these thigh joints are compressed in, like so, which also works the transformation, because when you put him into vehicle mode, you've got to push those thigh joints in. So when you get him out of the box, you just pull the thighs out, you'll hear them click, and then they're in the correct position. It's also the same as well for the arms. When you first get him out of the box, the arms are compressed up like that, so you have to put them out. And I think really that's all that you need to do. You know, that's all the finagling you need to do to get him actually how he should be when he's straight out of the box. So let me see now. Yes, so I've spoken about the paint and the plastics and the joints. Overall look, yes, like I say, oh yeah, I did mention that, didn't I, as well, about it. I think it's more going for the cartoon aesthetic than anything technical or real worldy kind of thing, should I say. So yeah, I do like it. It is, tell you what I'll do, I will bring in, because I've got him here just to the side, I'll bring in Takara Tomy, Ironhide, so you can see them both side by side. Give or take, the Fans Toys one is just, he's got slightly taller, I would say. Not by much, I don't think. It's just, it's millimetre, I would say, millimetres. The kind of, you know, they're pretty much alike for like, you know, they are very, very similar. But it's the same character, so what you're going to do, there's not going to be much, you know, variation there. The Fans Toys one does seem to tidy up better than what the Takara Tomy one does. But I must admit, I do like the whole wheels on the backside of the Takara Tomy, but that's because I've got the Shadow Fisher kit fitted onto my Ironhide here. Normally what you'd have is, well, the wheels would still be on the back on his butt, but here at the waist you would have like the side panels, which are those side panels there would be on the waist, but the Shadow Fisher kit changes that around so you don't have that there. So yeah, the kind of you know, they are pretty much, you know, very much alike, with, you know, subtle differences here and there. Obviously the other difference as well is that Takara Tomy is very, very light compared to Fans Toys version. Right, we'll just pop Takara Tomy's version back over there. Your day has been and gone, I'm afraid. Or has it? We shall get into his final thoughts. Oh yes, you've also got an ab crunch, which gets you down there, and then you've got, oh sorry, yeah, you've got a ratchet in the waist as well. So you've got three areas of ratchets. Then you've got the top of the thighs, back of the legs, and the waist there. Head just looks up and just looks up. He doesn't look down really, and swivels side to side. And it is on a mushroom peg, so what you can do is you can pull it off like so, and you can then pop in the other head that comes with it. And this is more of a, I would say, IDW. Well, I did do, because when I was talking about the accessories, this is the more IDW style head, which you can kind of see there. Very angry looking face. I'm not over keen on it, but I think it's one of those where if you were to do a display with Ironhide and Cup, they'd look, you know, the two grizzled old warriors, they'd look quite good together. But you know, yeah, it's not my bag, but it's there nonetheless. Let's take that off and put his. Oh, what's that? It's just dropped out. Oh, it's that. That's fine. That's not a problem. It's just the cover plate that's popped out. There we go. Pop it back in. That's not a. I'm not worried about that. That's not a QC issue, is that? Let's get his proper head back on. So, for accessory wise, if you want to, like the interchangeable face plates, just lift his head up slightly, and if you just pull, and then you can just get one. They're just held on by like a single pin there, and then just held on by a single pin, and just push it in like that, and there we go, and the face is in like that. Weapons, standard, just like a side peg, and they just slot into the hand. Oh, yeah, now you see you got a problem with this chrome coated one. Because of the chrome, it changes the tolerance, the thickness, so it does like to pop off when you try to close the fingers around it. But yeah, you can hold him like that. And then while he's got this gun, that's when you get this thing that you can pop on to make him, you know, like I've already said, like his you know, shooting kind of, you know, spray, suppression fire, whatever you want to call it. But like I say, I think it's better as a fan. So anyway, put that to one side, so we won't be using that much, if at all. His standard guns, same. These do fit in his hands a bit better. I say a bit better, a lot better actually. And then pop them in. Let's get his other one. So then what we can do is then do the whole. Oh, come on, in there. It doesn't want to go in, does it? No, it will now. There we go. It's in now. Yeah, you can do the whole sort of like on the Autobot shuttle heading to Earth, you know, before the end, boom, 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 and then that's it. He's gone. Oh, it's so traumatic. No, that's that them two fitting in, and then like the drill going in. So they all fit in the same. It's all that side peg, but I'm just going through them so you can see how he holds onto them and, you know, how he looks with the different things. Backpack. There we go, with the jets already. That just clips in there at the back, like so. And they can, and he's off, kind of thing. The one that I am a little bit disappointed with is this one. Now, in that episode, is it? Yeah, in More Than Meets the Eye Part 3, when he flies off to after the Decepticons. Is it Part 3? More Than Meets the Eye Part 3, or is it? Anyway. I think it's More Than Meets the Eye, or Arrival from Cybertron, whichever you want to call it. It kind of comes up from his back like that, and he fires away with it. But there's nothing on the back here to peg it into. So what you've got is this lift out peg here. So it's like that, and just get your thumbnail under it and lift it up. And then what you do is, as per the instruction booklet, you just basically balance it. It doesn't clip on, it doesn't snap into place or anything like that. You literally just put it there like that, and that's it. And yeah, I'm a little disappointed with that. Especially when you consider what they've done with this figure and the accessories that they've provided with it, and the functionality of them. But it's just like, kind of like, what do we do? Oh, we'll just bang it on there. Fine. What I think would have been better is this piece that's used on the weapons loadout rocket sled kind of thing. I think it would have been better if there would have been some way to kind of peg that on somewhere, and then you could have then popped that in there like that. So then you would have been able to use it like that, you know. So yeah, okay, yeah, it's looking a bit unsightly having that there, but at least you would have been able to gotten it looking something like. But, you know, payoffs, that's what it's all about. Functionality with some stuff, and you've got to give way in others. So I think I've covered everything I want to cover, or I can think at the moment to cover with taking this look at Warhorse in his robot mode. So I think with that, it's let's get him transformed into his vehicle mode, and we'll see what he looks like in his Cherry Vanette disguise. Please excuse this interjection in between getting from robot mode to vehicle mode, but I just wanted to point something out. As you can see, I am almost done with the transformation. There was no way I was going to do this on camera, and I will get to that in closing thoughts unless I do talk about it. I'm dying to talk about it, but I'll, in its appropriate point. What I wanted to say is, in between, I know a lot of people tend to watch the transformational videos rather than using the instruction booklets now, which is great. I do as well. I watch the transformational videos, but I think it is still important to use or reference the instruction booklet, because it can show you some details that the videos don't always show, and that's what I want to address here. In in Fans Toys' own transformation video, they don't show a particular step, which is actually quite important for if you want to get the vehicle mode done properly. And it concerns what makes up the feet. Now, as you can see here, what you need to do is the toe parts of the feet need to be bent up. In the instructional video that you see from Fans Toys, they're actually they remain down. So the bottom part here is sitting on this part here. Well, no, it won't work, because it'll mean that this section here, this back section here, will be bent downwards slightly, so it won't collapse and clip together properly. So, excuse me, but if you look in the instruction booklet, that's how it shows you how to do it. Also, what it shows you to do as well, which they don't do on the video, is there's these two tabs here. Now, on the video, they leave the tabs up, but the tabs must be rotated down like that. And again, it's to make it so it will all, when you do get to the stage of collapsing this down, it will all go together properly and clip in where it needs to clip in. So I just wanted to point that out briefly before I move on. So there we go.
The alt mode.
And here we have him in his Vanette mode. I think was it a Nissan Cherry Vanette? I think that's the real world alt mode of it. But yeah, it's quite compact. It's the same size as Masterpiece Ironhide. There's no difference in size there. But what is different? I'll get this bit out of the way first, then we'll talk a little bit more about the detail and stuff like this. This thing is heavy. It's a hefty chunk of a thing. So if you were to throw that at someone, that'd do some damage, would that? You just like, lob it at them. Not that I'm advocating for that, but should you find it be a bit annoyed with someone and you happen to be next to your Transformers collection and you're looking for something to, what can I hoik at them? Oh, there's Ironhide. I'll just, but yeah, he's quite hefty. I mean, it's like a brick. It is. It's like a medium-sized, rounded brick. So yeah, there's the heaviness thing there. What I'll also point out as well is it's got door mirrors. Door mirrors. Now, Fans Toys are making a habit of this, about putting door mirrors on the vehicle modes. I'm not sure myself. It's a nice detail to have, I suppose. However, it's just something extra to break off, or you would think. But I am kind of 90% sure that these are made from die-cast. The door mirrors are made from die-cast. The doors aren't, but I think the door mirrors are made from die-cast. So the door mirrors can still break off the door. They're not actually part of the same moulding. They are glued in there. But yeah, but we have door mirrors. You know, whether you want them or not, they are there. It's a nice little touch, I suppose. We'll stay with detailing. So we've got the headlights here, which are just silver chromed plastic, and I think they do have a translucent plastic lens just inserted in there. We've got a silver painted bumper. On the side we've got a yellow go faster stripe. We've got chrome wheels with rubber tyres. We've got blue translucent windows. Yay for the translucent plastic. On the back we've got blue translucent window. We've got just lazily painted all yellow rear lights, which is a little bit disappointing, but silver bumper again. Then the opposite side, same as the previous side. Underneath we've got very little of the robot mode on show. That's tidied up quite nice underneath. And then on the roof we've got that, which will be like a sunroof or moon roof or whatever you want to call them. There's a couple of slots here and there, which I assume it means that you can plug the weapons in and things like that. So yeah, that's the vehicle mode. What can you say other than that? It rolls well. I will brum it for you. There we go. Let's take him back again. A bit more force. There we go. And backwards again. It's like Ironhide tennis, isn't it? Oh, there we go. So yeah, it rolls rather well on his rubber tyres. And when he's in when he's in vehicle mode, I'm just having a feel round actually now. Yeah, it's all plastic, apart from the door mirrors here. So yeah, it's all plastic on the outside. So I don't really think what more I can tell you about it's very panelly. There's lots of panel lines on it. Lots of panel lines. You know, where everything clips and slots in together. And with that, I will talk about what I do want to talk about. I was going to save this until the my final thoughts bit at the end, but I will mention it here, and I'm sure I'll go over it again. But this is an absolute pig to transform. There we go. I've said it. I will elaborate more when we discuss my closing thoughts. And with that, I'm going to move on to... What am I moving on to? Oh, I am going to be moving on to final thoughts next, but I'm going to get him back into robot mode before we do that. Okay, so I'll see you in a moment. Or two, or three, maybe. I forgot, before you go, well, I said before you go, before I move on to my final thoughts, I forgot to mention about the doors. The doors open. And I shouldn't be pulling it by the door mirror, but I am doing. Because I kind of feel confident in the fact that they're not going to break off. But yes, the doors open. You can't do anything with it. You can't fit anything in, so you can't, there's no space for a figure to sit in there or anything like that. But the doors do open. I suppose it's a feature more to do with the transformation really than it actually being a working feature of the vehicle mode. But I forgot to mention it, so I've come back now to mention it. Right, now I can move on to the final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Well, I think that probably just about covers it from what I can think off the top of my head. There will be more detail, and I'll probably elaborate on a few points when I come to do the written review, which will be at some point when I get round to it. All the photographs and things like that are done for it, and I've got ideas for what I want to write. I've just not put pen to paper at the moment for it, but for the moment, focus on where we are here now with my final thoughts on this brief review and what I think. So yeah, I'm conflicted with it because I was really looking forward to this figure. He's still here at the side of me. I'll bring him in. Actually, tell you what, I'll just move these because I've still got them in there. I'll bring him in. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll say, right, okay, Takara, MP Ironhide. If you have him and you are more than happy with him, and like I say, if you've got the Shadow Fisher kit applied, you might not see any reason to upgrade to Warhorse. I think, but me personally, I think had this figure have had some diecast in it, if they'd have just done a bit of a better job with the arms, you know, like trying to hide those windows, and it would have had rubber tyres and a nab crunch, and I'm going to go on. No. Those points aside, I think I probably would have stuck with this. The X-Transbots one didn't interest me at all, so I think I would have stuck with this. But when I saw the preview images and the renders of Warhorse, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I think that's going to be my Ironhide. So yeah, so I think if you're in that camp where you're more than happy with MP Ironhide and you've got the Shadow Fisher kit, then I don't know if I'd advise you to shell out the extra money for Warhorse. I think you'd be just as good and just as well keeping this. However, that said, Warhorse is all round generally a better figure and better representation of Ironhide than what MP Ironhide is. So sorry, Ironhide, but you're gonna have to toddle off again off screen. That said, he is not without his issues, and the main issue I have with, there are a couple, but the main one I have with Warhorse is, deep breath, the transformation sequence on this from robot to vehicle mode is, I'm sorry, but pardon my French, but it's a fucking nightmare. I hated every moment of it. We're talking X-Transbots level, and I don't know why they've done it. Don't get me wrong, Fans Toys can make some interesting choices from time to time when it comes to transformation, but this, it's as though they've kind of like, you know, nipped round the corner, knocked on X-Transbots' door and said, can you just give us an and design it transformation sequence on this figure, please? And they've been like, yeah, sure, I can. I mentioned earlier on about it, I pointed out there's pins everywhere on this thing. You know, it's like a plastic pin cushion, and some of the tolerances are just so tight, and it's not a pleasurable experience at all. And I'm glad I've done it, because it ain't happening again. I am not transforming this thing again. No way. The other reason why I'm not doing it as well is because there's a couple of QC issues on this. The main one, the major one, what I'll do is there will be I'll put photographs up on the screen, because I did take photographs of it, because I have contacted Fans Toys to obtain some replacement parts, because I think it's just not on. You know, for what the price point this figure is, and the QC issues on it, it's just it's not acceptable. The main one is, you can't really tell, but like I said, the photos will be up here. This is a tab. This is a die-cast tab, and this essentially holds the front section here to the middle section, because it kind of like clasps round. Yeah, this backpack clasps up, the front section clasps up, and then the head is on like the centre, and it pivots like on a fold-out joint, and that forms the centre, and it comes together, and then that pins there. Out the box, the paint was already flaking off this die-cast tab, and I don't just mean it, you know, a little bit, a lot, and like I said, you'll see from the photo. The other issue that I have, the other QC issue on it, I can't show you on the figure because it's all tucked away, and it's tucked away in the feet. The front and rear bumper in vehicle mode are contained in the feet. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a clever transformation, the way that it's able to all tidy up, and you know, it is a great design. You know, the engineering on it is brilliant, But I think it's just over-engineered. But like I said, the front and rear bumper end up going into the feet here. The paint's chipping and flaking off there, and also there's some spray consistency issues. Some parts have got better spray coverage than other parts. So the photos that you see are the ones that I've sent to Fans Toys to request replacement parts, because I'm not particularly happy with that. The other thing that I'm not happy with as well, which I'm going to mention now, is, and I'm going to name them, it's DPD. DPD delivered this figure to me, and again, you'll see the photographs. At the side of my house, you're coming through the front gate, and then you've got I've got then another gate at the side of the house, and this gate's about 6 foot high. The DPD driver on Monday morning, was it Monday morning or was it Tuesday? I think it was Monday morning. DPD driver, Monday morning, pulls up, and I was sat in the room and I saw him. He walked down the path and he threw the parcel over this 6 foot gate. And then after he'd thrown it, he pressed the doorbell and proceeded to walk up my path to go out the gate. So I hurried to the front door, opened the front door, and I said, "Oh, excuse me, Mum, can you just wait there?" I said, "I want to examine this parcel before you disappear." I says, "Because, you know, you've just thrown it over the gate." I says, "If it's damaged, I'm not accepting it." As soon as I'd said that, he basically he did. He ran up the rest of the path, shut the gate, jumped in the car, and sped off down the road. And I was absolutely fuming. So it's possible that could have, you know, affected me slightly in my perception and how I'm viewing this figure at the moment. I'm hoping that it doesn't. I don't think it will long term, but in the short term. And I think that's why it's probably taken me so long to get around to doing this review, because I've just been thinking, I can't be bothered. I just can't be bothered. It's just kind of like taking that sheen off it a little bit, which is silly. I know it's silly, because it's a lump of plastic and die cast at the end. Far more important things. However, that aside, it did damage the actual box that Warhorse is in, the actual packaging box. Not a lot. He said, "Is that Paul Daniels?" Not a lot. You know, he did damage it a little bit on one of the corners, dinged in. Now, most people would be like, "Oh, it'd be right, it's fine." But again, I think because I was just so annoyed, I logged an official complaint with DPD, and I contacted the retailer and I let them know. The retailer wasn't happy. They're also going to be putting in a complaint to DPD. But I must say, the retailer that I did get it from, they are great. They've been great with me over the years I've used them, and I've no complaints with them. The only thing that does trouble me is that I don't feel they sufficiently package their items. So the box for Warhorse inside was in the brown shipping box, but then inside there it was literally just one layer of bubble wrap, and that was it. So the box that Warhorse comes in was able to slide about and shift about inside this bigger brown box, and I don't think it's enough. It's not sufficient, and the retailer packages all their packaging like this. 9 times out of 10, they're fine. You know, I've not had any damaged boxes from them. This is just the one instance, and I think it's just down to this delivery driver just hiking my parcel over the gate. But that aside, I know that's not particularly a gripe or a commentary on the figure itself, but I just wanted to get that out of my system. I just wanted to, you know, get that out there. So, because it's all part of the experience, it's part of the collecting experience and the buying experience, and you know, and having things, you know, how we perceive and we want these items to arrive to us. We want them to come in as good a condition as that they can. So there we go. But back to him, yes. So that's the QEC, that's the QC issues and the things that irked me with the figure. On the accessory side, that pointless. I can do with that. I'm not interested in that. The IDW face, yeah, people may have, but it's not of interest to me. All the other accessories, yeah, great. Do what they need to do, and I've no issue with them, aside from, you know, this one which I spoke about when I was talking about the figure and how it fits onto Ironhide. And that's it. Those are my final thoughts. It's a great figure. It's its usual Fans Toys quality and design, with a little bit of extra transbots thrown in there for the transformation sequence. Aside from that, tab, good paint application, good detailing, solid quality of materials. Would I recommend? That's the thing. I think if you want to upgrade and if you've got the Takara Tomy one and you want to upgrade, then yeah, fine, do it. If you've got the spare cash and it's within your budget to do so, yeah, upgrade. I don't think you will be disappointed. However, if you're still more than happy with Takara Tomy Ironhide, then yeah, I don't see much need in changing over. If that's what you're happy with, stick with it. You know, why spend the extra cash? And I'll be honest with you, at the moment, the after sales market is flooded with the MP Ironhide. I mean, my MP Ironhide is for sale. It's been up for sale for a good few months now and not shifted, which is, I find, is really interesting, because if I'd have tried to sell that maybe last year or the beginning of last year, especially with the Shadow Fisher kit on, boom, it'd have gone. But I think that's a subject for another video, but I do think that the MP market and it is slowing down a bit. But anyway, so that's it. That's all I've got to say. I'm out of steam with yabbering on about this. So, Fantastic Model FM-03 Warhorse, also known as Ironhide. There we go. Thanks for watching. Look out for the written review and keep an eye out for other Vaults of Icon content that comes over the various social media platforms. Bye for now.
The G1 mode.
Okay, if I may interject, before we go to vehicle mode, I wanted to show you the G1 mode of sorts. It looks alright, actually. Essentially, what I will show you around the back here. That's essentially what you do. You take the backpack off, it unclips, and you kind of tuck the head away, and you just drop the arms down slightly, and that's his kind of pseudo G1 appearance, because he's got no head. No head. But then it's this I want to talk about. The backpack turns into this kind of like really awesome looking weapons rocket sled kind of thing. It holds all his accessories apart from the alternate head and the alternate faces. But other than that, everything's here. All his weapon loadout. Oh, and sorry, and the spray thing. The one the one I don't like. But it's all here. We've got the drill. We've got the rocket launcher thing. We've got the chromie gun. We've got his two handguns. We've got his jetpack, and we've got the flamey jetpacky effectsy kind of thing. And it looks pretty cool, actually. I must admit, it's a nice little touch. It's a nice little quirk. Everything slots in. Not kind of like, the weapons slot in okay, but that just sort of like slides in at the top there. And then, earlier on in the accessories I said there were this like red Gubbinsy seaty kind of thing. That's what that's for there. And you plug the rocket pack into it and the guns, and then that just kind of sits there. It doesn't clip in or anything, there's nothing biting on it to hold it in there. And then that just slots in the top like that. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you that before we move on to the vehicle mode. For it to kind of focus. As I always say, there will be more detailed photos coming up. And then if I just hold that and look underneath, you've even got like the little chromed tank treads. So you can, they don't roll out, roll out, sorry. Thinking of something else there. They don't roll about, so it can move. You just got to slide it about. But yeah, so this is the pseudo G1 mode of Warhorse. Yeah, it's a pity it doesn't have kind of that moulded plastic face thing like the Takara one, and on the original G1 it was the sticker on the back of the seat kind of thing. But you can't have everything. There's a payoff somewhere to be had. So yeah, pseudo G1 mode. Let's get to that vehicle mode, shall we? What's new?
In the vault. Vaults of Aya Khan.